I look back on the previous record and the one before that, and I ask myself, you know, what do I still feel good about? What did we miss? You know, now that time has gone by, do you really like that particular song or the elements that were involved in that song that were so important before? And without going into all the specifics, I thought, okay, that all those feelings, observations based on being on tour for 15 months and finishing up kind of like with the G3. What I thought I was going to do was make a live kind of record, and when I finished it, I said, oh, I'm not going to do that. I've had enough of that. I spent 15 months of all this, and I had all this time to explore that, and we recorded quite a bit of it, actually, over the course of the 15 months. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to think about how I can make something sound more unique and how I can play more quirky. I think that was the word I came up with. It wasn't the best word, but I was thinking, what's quirky, charismatic, unusual, and isn't so, you know, didactic sounding or something, or you know, methodical sounding. I think that, well, number one, I'm attracted to it. I resonate with it, you know, the blues sound and the rhythmic approach, and it seems like the opposite of playing in that style is sort of like being caged in a way. I mean, rhythmically, to be stuck with just quarter notes and eighth notes and 16th notes, to me, just gives a feeling that's a bit alien to me, you know. So when I hear players of any genre kind of break free of that, I don't care if it's classical music or jazz or blues or rock, to me that sounds right. That's expressive. And I want to hear it over and over again. It almost like, it sounds as if it has some sort of life-giving property that every time you hear it, you hear something new about it, you know. And it must be because, you know, I think the player is really not giving up on any level of expression, because it takes quite a bit more, I think, creativity to make something like that work, because you're not relying on the sort of quantized, you know, idea, you know, that you know you're going to do this thing and it's going to all fit, and therefore it will be right because it fits. You know what I mean? It's like when someone plays something and rhythmically all the notes fit in there, then it's correct, and it sort of gives this, I think it gives a kind of a false legitimacy to it, and then you wind up with a cookie cutter melody, solo, whatever. But it seems like all these really great solos and melody parts are the ones that are free of that. There's an observation that I always make, that the solo is either the real expression of the piece, it's very important for its melodic content, or maybe the role that it plays is to throw in something out of left field. Maybe it's the sound. Maybe that's all. It's just weird. It's supposed to come on really strong. Sometimes the solo really isn't very different at all from the melody. They're just one continuous piece. And you know, for those of us who started playing music in, you know, rock bands where we got 4 or 8 bars now and then, the arrangement of what a guitar solo did was very different. And when I started doing these instrumental records, I realized that none of that applied anymore. It just didn't work. The solos just didn't pop out because you'd heard all this guitar right up into the solo. So what else is there to say, you know? And that's a very important part. So I think on the certainly not as a rule, but it seems like very often in the slower pieces that are more ballad-like, not just slow, but more ballad-like, that there's more of a need of continuity there between the melody and the solo, even in the sound of the guitar. And I started playing by, I remember, just doing, you know, trying to play with stuff and see how slow I could get, and wanting to figure out how come other guys can go and make it sound really great.
Right,
you know, because there's a million places to do that over a beat, but when is the right time to do it? And then I thought about, well, you know, there's ways of playing it. And then, you know, where you move your pick as you play it, and how, what notes you pinch, what notes you don't.
So listening for all the variables.
Yes.
And the emotive quality that's going to yield somehow.
And, you know, that's not only, so that's guided me towards a, you know, kind of picks and strings and guitars and amps, everything, because I'm looking for stuff that allows me to speak in that sort of language, you know. Most of the time, it goes into the JSX. It goes from there, no speakers, and I'm using the Palmer speaker simulator. And then it goes into this Millennia Media Origin, which is a mic pre that's got parametric EQ in it, and it's got a de-esser and a compressor, and it has the ability to go transformerless with a transformer, solid state, tube, and you can flip and do all sorts of stuff with it. I record everything through it, bass, keyboards, everything.
You change the settings on that all the time?
Yeah. If I'm smart, I write them down.
In other words, you don't write them down.
Well, and then I realized I should get another one, so I started using like one for this, one for that, and that helped. But what I've done is, because this is not a professional room, you know, I try to get the sound from the amp and have that thing do as little as possible.
Right.
And in fact, I like it because you can set it up to be as transparent as possible, but it will warm up the sound, and you can take care of little spikes. And if you're using, like the JSX is pretty fat sounding, and sometimes you don't want 40 hertz in a piece of music. So it's easy with that unit to locate that 40 hertz ducket and take care of it like that. So each third is not a minor nor a major. And then when you finally do hit that major third, it has such an impact. It's finally sort of finished your statement. And it makes it even stranger.